Hi, so now you can see I have my typographic treatment and I have next to it the image that I transferred from my phone with the Pantone colors using the app. And then up above it, I have all these colors that I've pulled the Pantone colors for. So when I look at this one, I see that this red and this blue sort of vibrate. And so we're going to talk about contrast of extension and getting balance right. And sometimes it's just looking at things and seeing what works. And there's a lot of this red and blue next to each other, and they're not complements, but there's qualities because this blue has a bit of green in it, so it's similar to a complement, and so it sometimes vibrates when you have something that's close to complements. So it's a little overwhelming. So I'm going to change it to brown. Whoops, I didn't change it quite to brown. I'm going to select this again, grab my eyedropper, and change it to brown. So that's a little calmer on my eyes now. So those are the kinds of changes you'll be making at the end. So then I have this composition already too. So what I want to show you is I'm going to delete, move out here a little bit. And what I want to do, if you remember, I have a layer here where I put these different boxes here to crop for me. So I'm going to delete those. I'm going to delete all of these colors, and I am going to delete this photograph. Now I already have this file saved because you want to save your native file. So I have my native file with all that information saved as a Illustrator file. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to export this file as a JPEG file. So see, there's a little bit over extension over the edge, which you should have. So I am calling this my final, and this is my window. Okay, so I'm exporting that. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is when I do close this file in Illustrator, I'm not going to save it because I want to save the version that I had with those other things in it. Okay, so this is just an exported version for Photoshop. And so now I am going to close this one, and yes, I will save this version of it. I'm going to quit out of Illustrator and come back. Okay. Okay, so as not to have you wait while my little rainbow wheel goes around, I have opened a Photoshop document. You see it's untitled, and it is an 11 by 17 vertical page. Okay, now over here I have just gone and opened my file where I'm in Photoshop, and I say open from Photoshop, and I browse until I find this image. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go to the crop tool. Okay, now I have it set up as 1:1 ratio, so I will get a square. So you can see when I do that, I get this square, and I can't pull it any direction except as a square. And then I can move my image in around here. Now what I want to do is make sure I crop it tightly so I don't have any white showing. So I don't see, there might be a little bit of white. Nope, there's no white showing up here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So then when I get it where I want it to be, I hit that tool. Okay, so there we go. Now I am, sorry, not that tool, it was that check mark. So I am copying this, and I'm opening up my untitled file, and I am going to paste. Okay, now when I paste it here, see these pink lines? So these pink lines show me this one center line. It shows me that where did it go? It was there a minute ago, wasn't it? So I want to find that center line again. So it should be there. See the center line, and I'm going to make it 1 1/4 inches down from the top. Okay, So there I have this centered. Do I really though? I just want to double check. Okay. I was looking at what was happening here at the rulers up at the top. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to get the rectangle marquee. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, and holding down the shift key, notice how it changes. I want to hold down the shift key, okay, and I am going to make a square. And then I'm going to grab my eyedropper, and I've grabbed that orange color. And then while I grab the paint bucket, and I can drag that there. So I can copy, which is Command C or Control C, and paste. And so now I am going to move this over. Okay, so you see these pink lines, they help me to manage that it stays even, right? And I'm going to do the same thing over again. I'm going to grab a different color, grab the paint box, and drop here. I'm going to paste again. Now this time when I paste, I want to get the same dimension that I get, same width that I had over here. So it should, it's not showing me because I'm going to keep going and then I'll show you why it's not doing that, but it will in the future. So I am going to take my eyedropper again, grab my green, my paint bucket, paste. I'm going to paste again, drag. Now see the way it's showing me this measurement, so I know that they're all even. That's what I had intended to do the first time and I goofed, and I'll show you where I goofed. I'm going to grab the white, my paint bucket, boom, not really white, but beige. And then I'm going to paste one more time, go over here so that I can see that they're all even. I'm going to use my eyedropper to grab the background color and paste that in there. Now the reason why that wasn't happening here, if I go to my layers, I want to show you that I have a background layer here, and when I turn that on and off, you can see that these are all transparent layers, and I can make this layer is locked, so I can unlock that layer if I want. Now when I turn this layer off, see that the orange box also is on that same layer, so that's what happened here. So I need to redo that orange box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste again, and so you'll see, let me bring this layer up on top. When I drag this over, you see now it's showing me that equal spacing, okay? So I have that. So on this layer, see, so I'm going to hide this for a moment. So the one that's on this layer, I can just go and delete that so that I have it on a separate layer. If that wasn't confusing, but now I know that these are all even. So what I want to do is I'm going to select them all. Let me do it this way. Drag over them all. And when I move them, whoops, sorry, I want to go back and lock that, not lock this bottom layer, so I can just lock that layer. Lock layer. That's going to lock all that layers. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to, I'm just going to grab these and make sure I ungrab that. I'm just going to grab here, sorry. Okay, so I have these layers here, so now I can see the way I moved it over, I wanted to make sure it was centered with my image. So that's why I was trying to grab these boxes, okay? There we go, so I know they're centered now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the text tool, and I am going to click and I get this lorem ipsum, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out what the hex code is for each one of these colors. So the hex code, if I double click, say I have this color here, so if I double click on this color here, it shows me this color, the color picker. And what it's showing me is my HSB value for this color. It's showing me the RGB value. It's showing me the lab value and my CMYK. And it is also giving me the hex number. So I have this number here. I am copying it. Okay, I'll say okay. And then I go to the text tool here and I paste in that hex number. I'm going to try that again. Paste. Did I not copy it well? Try this again, and I need to copy it. I cannot type it in because when I do, it turns off the recording. There we go. So now the hex code, you need to put in the pound symbol here, okay? And this is 18 points. That looks like it works here. And so see again, I can move this around and I want to get it centered on this box here. So I am going to copy this hex code, paste it. I'm going to bring it down centered with this. It's not actually showing up centered because my text, if I grab my text here, delete that box. If I grab my text tool again, go in here to this text, I need to make sure it's centered. It is centered. Now make sure this one is centered. It is centered. So it should be finding that centered point, but it's not. Okay. And also I want to align it, the bottom of each one of these. So I'm going to paste again. There it goes. I got it centered that time. Okay, and lined on the bottom. Okay. Okay, let me just keep pasting these all in here now so I can get it all evened up. Okay, grab this one to get rid of this one. Get rid of that point. Okay, and paste the hex code in here again. Okay, centered and aligned with the bottom. So I can go and use my eyedropper again to find this color. Click on here and it gives me my hex code. So I can copy that. And I will leave this box up and just go say okay. Grab my text tool again here. Click on this. I'm not going to click on the pound symbol. Going to grab my eyedropper, grab the green. So you see how that's done. And then I can click this, grab my hex code here again, copy it, say okay, grab my text tool, click in here and paste. So I would do that for these other two as well. Okay, so now the last piece I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out of here a little bit, and I am going to put my photograph in here. So I go to open, and I have to go and find my photograph, which is right in here somewhere. Let's see, which one of these files is it? I think I didn't leave it in this folder. Well, I can use this, open here. So what I want to do is you'll open your photograph and I want to make it a square. So I am going to use the crop tool again, like I did last time. Oops, that's not the crop tool. Crop tool, and I'm going to crop down on my photograph. Whoops, a little too Put my photograph down. Spinny wheel. I pulled it too quickly and it slows and speeds up while I'm recording. It's challenging. It lags my computer. Oh my goodness. I'm going to Command Z. Actually, I have to hit the arrow and then Command Z. And then I'm going back to my crop tool. And I'm going to crop over this image. And then you can move it around a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I like that cropping. I'm going to hit the arrow. And so now I'm going to select all, copy. And go back and paste. Oh shoot, I did a command that's got my my camera locked. So I need to escape from this. Maybe if I hit escape. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to put, so I have my shape here. I am accepting it and I am going to grab my image and hopefully if I use Command key sometimes it makes a mistake. So I'm going to copy and I'm going back to my document and I am going to hit paste and I'm going to move it down here and again see the centered line. Okay, and now the last thing I want to do is I am going to put some text here. I am going, so what I just did, the camera keeps going on and off as I type, sorry about that. So I've gone in and I've created my name, the class and spring 2021, and then I can grab it and make sure it's centered. So now I have everything aligned, centered here. And then you would save your file. So when I save this, it will ask me to give it a name, and you're going to use your naming convention for the project with your last name and then your first name. Sorry, I was trying to save it and give it a name, and every time I start typing, it cuts me off, which is challenging. So you're going to save it as and name it, and then you are going to go up again and you are going to save it. So you're going to make a version that's a Photoshop version and save that, and then you're going to go back up and save it again as a PDF version with the naming, naming it the way you're supposed to, and then you'll unclick the layers. So your PSD, Photoshop PSD file, doesn't say PSD after, but that's what that is. It becomes a PSD file, as you see here. That will save the layers, and then when you go and you save the PDF one, you won't save the layers. You'll unclick layers. So you'll have two different files. You always want to make sure that you have your file that's not flattened, that has your multiple layers saved, okay? In case you ever have to make changes.